What's up, YouTube? Today we visit a website titled ThePrivateMan, where the author wrote an article on bracing constant rejection, and it was written on March 6, 2011. So let's begin. It starts off for him going over a little story about his life. I'm going to read the story to you, and his general theme in it is that you have to embrace constant rejection. He says, "I've been seriously online dating for just over a year. I've become the lord and master of the first date and dated briefly. I am assigning no blame to the woman who I have dated. I am simply acknowledging the state of things in my life. I am quite aware of who I am and confidently know what I offer in the context of a serious relationship. In the past 3 weeks, despite being effectively unemployed, I've had several first dates. Each one has resulted in the follow-up message of, 'You're not the one.' And to that, I hoisted a fine gin and tonic and said out loud and confidently, 'Next.' My neighbors might think me a bit loopy, but I simply don't care." Right, so now we're getting the general idea of things. So he's been an online dater for over a year, and he's not blaming any of the women. But so far, it's turning out that with all the dates he's had, they're all telling him, "Look, you're not the one. I ain't interested. Thank you for your time, but that's it." And he's like, "All right, not your fault. I know what I have to offer. If you don't want it, next, you know?" And it continues with, he works up the emotional energy to plow ahead and has been a challenge. Right? He's saying it's hard to be like, okay, going through the ruts. He's been kind of, it's affecting him. "Thankfully, I'm a rather optimistic fellow, and that gives me enough strength to continue. Regardless of my job situation," he says he has some good freelance gigs, "and being in almost dire financial circumstances, I know that I simply must move forward toward my ultimate goal, a solid, healthy, and wonderful long-term relationship. I simply refuse to let my own rationalization hamster convince me that being single is the best situation for me. It's not easy. Each rejection, and yeah, I am a legion in that regard, is a wee cut to my confidence. But there is a positive impact as the result of that wee cut. To heal, I turn to my passions. I write. I read. I ride my motorcycle. I seek the company of my friends and connect with family. I correspond with several bloggers and offer advice and solace to them. Hell, I'm trying to arrange a setup with a female blogger and an old friend." Right? So we're realizing that, it's not easy for him to go through it. As he says, he's working up their emotional energy to plow ahead has been a challenge. And I think we all could relate to that. But he says there is an upside to this, right? He knows that, one, being single isn't the best situation for him, and two, with every rejection, he rejuvenates himself by turning to his passions, right? He works on his writing, he likes to read, so he reads, and he rides his motorcycle. He's social, he connects with friends. So while it's not working out in some areas, he's able to have it work out in his favor in other areas. He says, "I truly empathize with guys who also face constant rejection. To them, I say, keep moving forward. Maintain your passions, connect socially, be strong. And I know it's incredibly difficult, and maybe even impossibly difficult. But just consider your own character flaws and work on them. Don't just improve yourself for that potential love of your life, but instead improve yourself for you, for your confidence, for your self-respect. The woman around you will sense it, and you'll become more attractive to them." He says, "Read, observe, and be aware, and learn about social interactions. Don't allow negativity to cast a shadow over the positive elements of your masculinity. Oh, and call your father or another old male relative. Talk with them about the nature of being a man." He's saying that these men won't live forever, and it's your moral duty to absorb their wisdom. So he's relating to old men out there, and he's like, "Look, I know it's not easy. In fact, it's impossibly difficult. But just stay focused." And he says, "Don't even thinking about improving yourself to get them to get to like you." He says, "Improve yourself for you," right? And I think in this sphere, we've always saying that to work on yourself first, or to get into your bag, to raise your self-confidence, to raise your self-respect. Just work on you, improve your life, right? Get that car you always wanted, get that house you always wanted, get that job you always wanted, get that pay raise, right? Focus on you. And according to him, and according to a lot of other people, and to me as well, he says a woman will sense this newness about you and they'll become attracted to you. But I want to point out that he says also talk to older male relatives or even friends. He says that they know what it's like, right? They've been through it before and they have a lot of experience and wisdom, and that it would behoove you to not absorb that wisdom. So go have a conversation, go talk with them, right? Now, continuing, he says, if you truly want some wisdom, volunteer at an active retirement community or nursing home just to listen to the stories and history of men in their later years. Volunteering is easy, right? He says just put in a call to the activities director and tell them you want to write or record the stories of the men. You'll be welcomed and appreciated. He says that he has done this and it's a life-changing experience. Also, to check out the Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress, and he says you can read and listen to those amazing stories and be motivated by other men. And he concludes by stating, rejection needn't be an oppressive and soul-draining experience. Rejection is an opportunity. And I really like the way he ends this, right? Rejection is an opportunity. And I think that's absolutely true. And it's very critical for a lot of men and even women to understand that key fact, right? Rejection is not necessarily saying, damn, you're not good enough, or damn, I can't get the things that I want. But instead, look at it as an opportunity. Okay, I got rejected here. Okay, what can I do? Right? So think about it. What can you do to improve? Okay, I got rejected here. Let me try to figure out why. And even though he's talking about relationship rejection, I think it's also important to understand it could be any type of rejection. Let's say you get rejected by a job interview, right? You interview for a job and he's like, look, you're just not the one. Well, okay, that's fine. And this will now be an opportunity to talk to them and say, okay, what could I have improved on? What did the guy that you hired have that I didn't, right? It's a learning experience. And he also points out that you can volunteer at a retirement community and listen to the stories of the men there. I personally think that's a very good idea, and I've always wanted to do something like that. I've yet to do it though. But yeah, definitely check that out, right? And so the overall message is to just embrace rejection, right? I feel like as a man, in your life, you're gonna have a lot of rejection. Rejection from friends, rejection from work, rejection from women, rejection from maybe even yourself. It's just part of your life as a man, and it's very important to be able to handle that correctly, right? For him, he wants people to know that rejection isn't a soul draining experience, but instead it's an opportunity, right? So that's what we have for you today. And again, thank you for stopping by. If you feel like you've learned something, or maybe you want to add something to the conversation, please leave a comment down below. I'm always happy to talk to you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.